Hello and welcome to Channel 2S. I'm your host, Second Soundwave, and it is time for some more Gunpla news. So Gunpla Expo has been wrapped up for a couple days now, but there's just one last little trickle of news I want to talk about before we're done with it for this year. So just going to get right into that. First of all, MSB, this is that Valkyrie frame looking thing. It is in fact a Valkyrie frame, and it is called the Helmwidge Linker, which is a very good Valkyrie name for a Valkyrie frame mobile suit. It's going to be a 1200 yen kit, which is pretty cheap considering how absolutely massive that sword is, so I'm kind of wondering if they might be cutting corners somewhere else in the kit. Guess we'll have to wait and see on that. Then the high grade, the Origin Sharzaki 1 variant that we saw on display. I thought this was going to be like a kind of Gaia Mash TriStar Zaku thing, where they were going to give you both parts in one box. But actually, no, it looks like it's going to be two separate kits. And the one on the right is going to be coming out in this spring, while the one that's coming out in December is the one on the left. So I personally think I'm going to wait for the one in the spring. I like that design just a little bit more. I think it's a little more kind of clean and compact looking, a bit more distinctive from the Zaku 2, which I already have. Then the real grade Build Strike is on display with the full RG decal sheet applied. And I guess it looks pretty cool. I'm not really a fan of the RG style decals in general, but if you're into that kind of style, it does look pretty awesome. Then the Perfect Grade Fenix was also on display, and it looks absolutely awesome. The way they lit it, the gold, the blue with the LEDs shining through, they did a really good job lighting the display. It looks shiny, it looks bright, it looks vibrant. I thought this was a CG render when I first saw it, but no, this is the actual physical model, and it looks outstanding. Obviously, it's not something I'll ever own. I actually did some calculations with a friend of mine, and we estimated it to cost approximately $700 to import one of these with the LED set, so that is well outside of my Gunpla budget. So unfortunately, this is not a kit you'll be seeing here on Channel 2S anytime soon. And then the 1/100 scale Gundam Vidar. I talked about this before, but what I didn't catch the first time around is that it's got this really interesting kind of sliding mechanism on the hip armor to make it easier for you to draw out his sword, which is pretty cool because I always like it when a kit's able to like fully draw out their weapon without removing it from the hand, or fully sheath it rather as well. So it's pretty cool that they added that little extra mechanism to accommodate that function. And that's it for Gunpla Expo this year, but we actually have two new Bandai campaigns to talk about. The first is a Master Grade Verka decal campaign. So basically with the purchase of select Verka kits, I'm going to get into those in just a minute, you're going to get a special decal sheet unique to that kit. So the eligible kits are the Thunderbolt Gundam, the Psycho Zaku, the Full Armor Unicorn, the Sinanju Stein, the New Gundam, the High New Gundam, the Sazabi, and the Wing Gundam. Now all these are the Verka models, and it's just these 8, so if you get, say, a Victory Gundam or an ARC 78 Verka, they will not come with the special decals. Now I'm not sure exactly what's special about them. They look like they're maybe metallic or something. It seems like a weird kind of campaign to do since Master Grade Verka is already known for coming with a ridiculous amount of decals, so I'm not even sure there's actually surface area left on a kit after putting on all of those to put more on. But if you want to put more stickers or decals on your Verka, you can do so if you buy the kits after December 16th. That's when the campaign starts. It's going to be running for a limited amount of time, not sure how long, but if you want to grab some December Master Grades, well, here you go. There's also going to be another campaign going on for the high-grade Iron-Blooded Orphans line. This is a stand campaign, so for a limited amount of time, you'll be able to get one of 4 different kinds of flight stands with your high-grade IBO kit, be it the Tekadon stand, one of 2 kinds of Yallarhorn stands, or the Tewaz stand. Okay, so I don't know if they're going to like actually match the kit. Like if you get a Lupus, I don't know if you're going to get a Tekadon stand, or if they're just going to throw a random stand in the box. But from the looks of it, they look like pretty cool stands. I actually like the Yallarhorn one a lot. I think it looks pretty awesome in that translucent blue. This is a pretty cool campaign, and this one's starting on the 26th, so that's actually just a couple days from now. Although I'm not sure if this campaign applies to online orders. I think it might only be for purchases in physical stores in Japan, so that is something to keep in mind. Next up, we have a brand new batch of premium Bandai kits that have been released, that being the Master Grade Thunderbolt Gundam Weapons Hanger, the Real Grade 007 Sword, the High Grade Zeta Plus C1, the High Grade Phoenix in Unicorn Mode, and the Super Fumina Titan's Maid version. Now I know some of these are kits that a lot of you guys have been looking forward to, like the Weapons Hanger and the 7 Sword, and if you want to grab them, now is the time to start looking around on eBay and other such secondary marketplaces to see if any pop up. So now last time I did talk about the G Gundam reprints, and got a pretty positive reaction from that. So I'm going to talk about some of the more reprints we got upcoming. These are the January reprints. These aren't necessarily new reveals for this week, but I'm not sure all you guys are aware of them, so I'm just going to bring them up again. We're getting the high-grade 8th MS team kits again. Now this would be things like the Ground Gundam, the Ground GM, the Goof Custom. These are things that we either have high grades of or we're getting high grades of pretty soon, and obviously these are the old 1996 kits, so they're not going to be that great. But there is 1 or 2 in this batch that will be pretty cool, namely the Goof Flight Type, because we have no other kit of this particular mobile suit, and it's a pretty awesome design, so if you want one, this is your chance to get one. And also the Zaku 2, because while it is almost identical to the standard Zaku 2, it does have slightly different shoulders. So if you're into that sort of thing, well, here you go. In fact, you could probably take the shoulder pads off this guy and splice them onto a newer kit if you want a nicer looking version of this design. Then the EX model kits are getting reprinted. These are those ship and vehicle models that are not as colored as the standard Gunpla, but they are a little bit more detailed and a lot more expensive for some unknown reason. But this is things like the ships, so we're getting like the White Base, the Argama, we're also getting like the Gundam truck, we're getting the Dop Fighter, and we're also getting the Hidolfer, which is a big, awesome model. A lot of people like this. Is a really popular kit, but also a really rare kit. So it's great to see they're finally reprinting this. So if you want to get one of these, January is the time to do so. Then the UC Hardgraph line is getting reprinted as well. So this is that line with all the little people and the tanks and the jeeps and the stuff like that. So if you're into that sort of traditional military modeling, well then January is going to be a pretty fun month for you. So now finally, we have packaging and final images for the figurized bust of Fumina, which is looking pretty alright, I guess. I mean, I kind of like that they have that 2-in-1 thing going on where you can display her with or without the jacket. And the box art looks pretty much like the box art for any of the other figurized busts. And on a similar note, the next bust we're getting, the Lacus one, is apparently the only confirmed February release we have so far, which is kind of weird because everything they showed at the Expo is March or later, and everything before that is December or January. So far, this is the only confirmed February release we have, which is kind of odd. But anyway, that's all for tonight. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe icon that's popping up on the screen right about now to stay up to date on Gunpla News. And if you want to watch some of my other stuff, click either of the adjacent thumbnails to that icon to watch some more awesome Gunpla content. Until then, I'm your host, Second Soundwave, and I will see you next time.